I'm Thad Smith, the Executive Chef at Sterno Products, America's leading manufacturer of portable warming and ambient solutions for the food service industry. Welcome to the first edition of our podcast series, Getting Your Express Catering Operation Up and Running. Today's episode is titled, Taking the Dive. So, what is Express Catering? Well, first of all, it's one of the fastest growing segments and most profitable segments in food service. Express catering, it's also known as drop-off catering, is a service extension of an established restaurant or caterer that is designed to work in concert with day-to-day operations and provide an additional stream of revenue. Express catering provides customers the opportunity to host an event, a business lunch, family gathering, holiday party, etc., and enjoy the great food and experience of their favorite restaurant at their home, place of business, or in any setting of their choice. So what's in it for you, the restaurant owner or caterer? Express catering allows a restaurant to vastly expand its customer base and increase revenue without the hassle of full-service catering. Why does it make sense? Using an existing brand, concept, and menu, you develop a plan for taking what's served in-house and create a vehicle for serving it to people in their businesses or homes without the high cost of providing a full-service event. Everything the customer needs to host a memorable group dining experience for business or pleasure is provided. Delicious hot or cold food, disposable recyclable service items, portable warming units, and execution instructions. Over the last several months, we have worked with, when I say we, I mean Sterno Products, have worked with Salvation Pizza, an Austin-based locally owned restaurant chain that's been in business for just over 10 years. They had their 10th anniversary back in June. Our goal has been to assist them with setting up an express catering operation. I'm joined by George Taranzo, Director of Operations. During the last several months, we've worked side by side with George and his team, and in the process have put together a kind of case study that is part of a larger express catering program, which can be found at sternopro.com/training center. At the Sterno Training Center, you will find a comprehensive toolbox to help with your express catering program, including the Sterno Express Catering Startup Guide, training videos, cost calculators, safety info, and posters, as well as this podcast series. And just so you know, we talked a moment ago about the Sterno Express Catering Startup Guide. That's a 5-step guide that kind of takes you through the process of getting an express catering operation going step by step, and George and his operation play a big part in that. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce someone who's become my friend over the last several months, George Taranzo. He's Director of Operations at Salvation Pizza in Austin. George, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sure, of course. So tell us a little bit about your background in food service. It's always interesting. It's always interesting to talk to folks that are in the business because usually they start with a different intention in mind and end up finding their real passion in what they thought would just be a part-time thing. Is that the case with you?
Absolutely. I got my first job right out of high school, bussing tables. Quickly moved up to the bartending ranks, and thought I was going to use that as a platform to get through school and get a marketing degree. As it turned out, I ended up in food management, bartending for a long time and behind the bar, and then gradually, as I moved up the ranks, I started looking at higher management positions and took several courses within Disney and Rock Bottom to kind of achieve that goal, and that's how it started. And then here I am, 25 years later.
25 years. That's same for me. So it's amazing how fast the time goes. And next thing you know, you're doing something you love. Clearly, we've been down at Salvation Pizza with you, and you love the work that you do. Give us a sense about and Salvation Pizza. What's the website for Salvation Pizza? It's
salvationpizza.com.
Right. So people can take a look at what you're doing with your operation and your menus. But tell us a little bit about the operation, how long the Salvation Pizza's been around, how many stores you have, that kind of thing.
Sure. We have been around for 10 years. We just had a 10-year anniversary back in June. We ventured off into opening up a second location in a more populous part of town. And then with aspirations of growing the company even more, we just achieved opening our third location just last month, as a matter of fact, in a new area that's up and coming in the Austin area. But 10 years overall, and aggressively expanding.
So 3 stores right now. What's the 5-year plan for you guys?
We're looking to expand up to 7
Okay.
restaurants. We may throw in a second concept in there within the group, but the majority of it being Salvation Pizza with Italian fare.
Can you tell us about that, or is it a secret at this point? Is it classified information about the second concept?
No, it's very Austin. We're thinking Mexican
Okay.
concept. We do have a gentleman who's worked for us for 10 years who is from Mexico and has his grandmother's recipes that he would, he's always been wanting to use. And we brought him on board with aspiring towards that goal at some point. So I think that's what we're going with.
I've been down to all 3 of your shops. I haven't seen the one that I was in the one that opened recently. What's the name of that neighborhood it's in?
It's called the Domain.
The Domain. And you guys were just about ready to open it last time I was there. Give us a sense of what Salvation Pizza is known for. Obviously, with a name like Salvation Pizza, my guess is pizza is certainly a part of it. But give us a sense of what a customer experiences when they come into the shop. What's the kind of vibe of the place?
As far as the one at the Domain, I'm sorry.
No, I mean overall. I mean, when
Sure.
people think about Salvation Pizza, what do they think of?
They're thinking fresh products. That's really something we push. We try to be as much of a scratch kitchen as possible. We make everything in house that we can. Our dough for pizzas obviously is made in house. Our everything from our bread for our Italian sandwich. We cut our own pineapples for our Hawaiian pizza. So we try to stay about 85 to 90% scratch as a kitchen as we can. So freshness is the biggest part, I think, that drives us, making sure that quality is never sacrificed. Even though it is pizza, people in today's world, as far as pizza eating, are very conscious of what they put in their body, and freshness is at the top of the list, obviously. So we definitely gear towards that.
Yeah, well, it's terrific stuff. So, besides the pizzas, what other things do you feature on your in-store menus?
Well, we have great pastas that we just developed and added to the menus. Outside of that, we really focus on our salads. All of our dressings are in-house made, fresh ingredients daily. We don't keep it past certain hours of a shift. So our salads drive us. We have pastas on the menu, which are considered mostly our entrees. We do calzones as well. And we have several appetizers, which people have become to love. Our bruschetta, their hand-cut tomatoes, everything is fresh. So
Great. So, now, historically, over the last 10 years, let's talk catering in general right now. So, over the last 10 years, has Salvation Pizza been known for doing catering? Is that something that people think of when they think of the brand?
no, absolutely not. But we've had obviously many requests to do it, and we have done it on a limited basis, but never driven force of our program.
So why is that? Why is catering something that you didn't want to get into or actively market?
Um, I think is fear. I know that since I started with the company a year ago, even at that time when we started talking, like, do we want to go down that direction? We knew how big of a task it could become, and so fear really was kept it always down. We do it when it seems possible that we're going to be able to achieve it, but never had a straight concept of how to do it. So I think
it
that's what
was
drove it.
pretty much if it came up and we could do it, we would do it. But it was something that you tried to avoid if you could.
Correct.
So that sounds like just the folks that we want to work with. I'm so glad that we found you. So Express Catering. The idea is that you take an existing menu, maybe expand upon it, but then actively market to the customers that you are regular serving in-house, and then grow the business from there. So Express Catering is the idea of delivering a catered event to someone's home, but not a full service catered event that features servers that stay on site with chafing dishes that need to be picked up and afterwards, all the things that go with a full service event. So when you learned about express catering or drop off catering, what was it about that made it interesting to you as the director of operations for Salvation Pizza?
Well, just that, like you said, in other words, being able to plan the activities and knowing that you can execute it, you've pretty much done what you said you would, and you didn't have to coordinate all those other angles that you talked about. It's very difficult, uh, to have employees uh, pick up, clean up, all that stuff. That really comes into a full catering event. So the drop off was very intriguing for us as far as how we can facilitate it, how quick it was to set up, and also from the customer's perspective, how they felt that it was such a better product than us just dropping off a bunch of pizza boxes and a couple of
Yeah.
aluminum pans with meatballs, let's say.
Sure. So when you were thinking about getting into express catering, what were your biggest concerns about doing it? What were some of the things that kept you up at night when you thought about starting this program?
The biggest one was execution and also food safety.
Okay.
The fact that we're dropping off food, obviously to a second party, if you will, and then the quality goes down if it's just sitting there. If the party was supposed to start at 5, it doesn't start till 5:30, 5:45 for whatever reason. Now my food doesn't taste hot. It's not probably safe at this point. Those things that you kind of don't want to have, and then by the time people eat it, they won't know that it was not that you that didn't present it that way.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about the kind of, that's a terrific point. I mean, this is your brand that's going out, and it's being served to a
Correct.
lot of folks, a lot of potential customers down there. So I think what you're saying is that you are exposing yourself to creating a really bad experience with your food if things aren't handled correctly. Would that be true?
That is correct.
Now, you are not an owner in this operation, are you?
I am not.
Okay, so let's talk about, this was your idea. I mean, you're the one who said, I want to do express catering. How did you sell that to your owners? Because it sounds like, had they thought this was a good idea before, they would have said, George, get this thing going now.
In a way, I'm still selling it to them.
Okay.
But yeah, they did sign off on it on the requests of many people that have come through our shop over 10 years. Lots of people always asking for a catering menu. And in today's world, with all the websites that do third-party delivery, they're requesting catering because they do a lot of downtown offices work. And so they're saying, if you have a catering menu, it'd be so much better, so much easier, we could sell it. So because of all this interest, when I brought it up to them, and with me putting the major focus on it, they were willing to give it a shot. And obviously, we're all happy with the way it's gone.
Good. So what resources have you had at your disposal as you've developed this? What kind of things have you done to prepare? And we're going to get more in depth in these in the following episodes. But just top line, what are some of the things that you've done in order to get this program going? What resources have you utilized?
Well, we've had several. We've done some, obviously, through Sterno. You guys have been instrumental in opening up our eyes to the world of catering and the possibilities. So that's number one, because if you kind of shy away from it, you never do the research that you should have probably. Number two has just been talking to people in the business that do catering. Also, talking to other restaurants that have tried it, maybe stopped, and that's why it failed. A lot of online and a lot of word of mouth as far as why we're doing it. I know that when I talked, particularly on our second Rainy Street location, and I took that idea up and down the street with all the bars, I should say, that don't serve food, and kind of presented to them and said, would you use this service? They were all super excited about it. Everyone says, yes, you should do it because we would use you guys.
Interesting.
So that kind of opened up our eyes a little bit.
Terrific. So we only have a minute left in this episode, but another thing that we're going to get more in depth in future episodes is the menu. But talk to me a little bit about the menu that you've developed for your express catering program. Did you stick simply with the current menu that you have? What did you change, and how did you do it? And how did you make those decisions?
We added a couple of items that we're going to try outside of what's used in our in-house menu. A lot of people suggested that we needed more options for the catering side of things, just to make it a little bit more attractive. So we're shooting with it, and we're trying to execute that and see how it plays out. But we're very excited about it. I know that everyone I've shown the menu to, pre-posting it, is excited about the new menu items. But obviously we have a core when it comes to our meatballs, our pastas, our hot food items that we're going to use Sterno for. And ultimately, obviously, the pizza drives itself.
Great. Hey, great insights. I wish we had more time today, but we're trying to keep these to around 15 minutes. Our next episode will be called Setting the Stage, some of the pre-work that you did, and that's going to be a great conversation, I'm sure, as well. George, thank you for joining us. You can follow us, Sterno, on Facebook and Twitter, hashtag Express Catering. We're at sternopro.com. George, once again, the Salvation Pizza website?
Yep, it's salvationpizza.com.
Thanks so much, George. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.